Welcome to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. Hope you're having a great day as we continue to celebrate all the amazing people all across the state of Mississippi who are working to make this such a great place to live, work, and play. I love saying that because I mean it. It's terrific. The feedback we get for the show for these long-form conversations has been, continues to be so positive. People enjoy, checking in and having not a soundbite conversation, but just a conversation that doesn't have a bunch of bullets. That we're just going to talk. And I love this time of year because I really spend a lot of time checking in with the mayors. And for a matter of fact, today we're going to be joined by Fofo Gillich, the mayor of the city of Biloxi, for the first half of the show. And then Jay Trapani from the city of Waveland for the second half of the show. So it's going to be a good show today. So let's, without any further ado, and since we only have two segments together, let me get to my friend Fofo Gillich and say good morning. How you doing, my friend?
Good morning, Ricky. We're great. Everything is good. We've made it through the Thanksgiving, and we're ready to move forward.
Yeah, no doubt. Listen,
this year's passed. 24 is gone.
I said that a bunch of times on this show. Where did this year go, man? I mean, literally, we blinked. You know what? I've said. I think I may have said this last year, but when Ann and I were taking the Christmas decorations down from the attic, it literally felt like I just put them up there. Maybe the older we get, the more time flies. I don't know, man, but it's weird that so much time, a year has gone by.
I'm telling you, it really is. It's flown by. And, here we are, 20-something, how many days from Christmas? Not very many. And I got a list of things that I have to do, whether you want to do it or not. It's got to be done.
Well, there's a lot of places to go, and we had a terrific visit before the show started. I always enjoy catching up with you, but there's a lot to talk about. The extension of Potts Ferry Road Bridge, we'll get into all that before we get done. But when you look back on this year, when you just reflect on the year that's almost over, what comes to mind for you?
Well, just how fast things, fly by. You just can't take a breath because, it's too late. And, my number one project, and it has been really for a number of years, was that extension and making it a state road. So eventually, you and I can get a new bridge, and a causeway and a connection. And just that 1 year, that was $29 million, as well as just keeping that bridge we have, operational. And there's not a lot of options. People, you hear on that internet, all the social media on why don't you do this and why don't you do that? We've tried everything, and it's basically, here we are. We got something we have to work with. And, and it's going to be, it's like, when you design or you build a submarine, it's going to take 10 years, from the time you say, okay, let's go, I'm ready to rock and roll. And it's the same thing.
Hey, for people who maybe didn't follow that, let me just review real quickly that the Potts Ferry Road Bridge is a very unique bridge in coastal Mississippi where it is not a federal bridge. It's not a state bridge. It actually falls under the guise of the city of Biloxi, which is a really odd deal when you think about how critical it is for evacuation for hurricanes, when you think about the drawbridge itself and the amount of economic development that's passing underneath that bridge, especially as it relates to the Gulfport Seaway and all that. So it's a weird deal. And the way it normally works when you go get a new bridge, you got to.
It's complicated. When you look at every aspect of commerce and defense access and evacuation, and then the ability to apply for other monies. All this billions of dollars of transportation, that's not applicable to that bridge. I'm talking about this is what happened as a result of ARPA, and that just doesn't count. Those are not arguments. Truth and justice will prevail, but it won't prevail against the rules and regs that we have to operate by.
But as you and I,
we're making our best. We're making our best, with regard to that project. Again, going into 24, hey, my number one project is to get that extension so we could possibly become a state road, so we could possibly get federal monies to possibly build another, access to eventually, 67 and I-10 directly for Pass Road.
So at one point, the city considered a toll road, and during that conversation, you get into a discussion about what the needs are in America for new bridges, for bridges to be rebuilt, for roads and highways. I mean, we're talking about trillions of dollars if you were to go out there and fix that. And so what happens is, if it's a federal highway, it's going to be first on the list. If it's a state highway with federal funds, it's going to be second on the list. The opportunity for a city without federal or state assistance to build a bridge like this is basically non-existent. So what the city has had to do in the meantime is update the actual drawbridge itself and make some changes to the drawbridge so that it's at least more reliable. But by connecting that Pops Ferry directly to Highway 90, by connecting the Highway 90, it becomes a state bridge, and actually in priority it gets to go up a notch.
Well, it's eligible to become a state road, and we would have to, agree to do the maintenance that we've been doing, so it doesn't put, problems with the state or the MDOT. And then also, at least we have the opportunity to say, now we're eligible, and then we can chase it from D.C. down this way. But there's so much talk, and I don't know, there's a lot of folks that you and I know come from Louisiana, go to Destin. All right. And you're talking about what are the possibilities. They're talking about a toll causeway that replaces the I-110. That's a $1.2 billion deal. OK, for how many miles? Maybe 4 miles, and a $12 toll. And I've heard people from Louisiana say, hey, it's worth it for me to pay $12 so I don't have to wait 2 hours and going or coming. So when you put it in terms of, what is it to me? What does it mean to me? Hey, I'll pay that $12. I'll pay that $2. I'll pay that whatever. But that's a reality of today. It's so much. You and I talked in 2015. We developed the Biloxi Beach Corridor connector that would take us build a corridor from 67 due south to Highway 90. $255 million, the whole thing at that point in time. Now one bridge, the Pops Ferry Bridge, right close to you and me. That's $300 million without blinking, and maybe 6 months from now, $350 million. And our sale and our ad valorem tax revenue for the city of Biloxi is like $24 million. Okay, do the arithmetic. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a math major, so you can do that math pretty quickly, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do the math on that and say there's no way to make it work without the federal government helping.
That's not math. That's just arithmetic. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But it is exciting now that you think back at all the purchases that need to be happening, the design that had to happen, and all the work that had to be done to make that extension from Pass Road to Highway 90, the extension of Pops Ferry Road, to make that a reality. And when we finally do have it, Fofo, it's going to be almost unbelievable to recall that we had to turn on Pass Road and then again on Beauvoir to be able to get to Highway 90. I mean, it's going to become part of what we do, and we're going to say, how did we ever do this any other way?
Well, like I said, you do what you have to do. And look, right off the rattle, what did we open up just a few months ago? Rouse's, right? And that was a direct result of us committing to do that. No question. And then they put millions and millions of dollars in that store. Now it's a 60,000 square feet, biggest one, I think, in the operation. It's already paying dividends. So whatever you do, you haven't decided that this is the right thing to do. And, we'll be coming next to be Chick-fil-A, and there are challenges with each component, but it was the right cause, and still the right cause to build that corridor, to build that connection. We're going to do it, and that again, that'll open up many more economic development pop-ups or opportunities, I think. So, but
I went into the Rouse's recently, and of course I know Donnie Rouse. You know that I know the Rouse's family well from my time in New Orleans, but they have figured this stuff out, dude. They have, what a gem of a store. It's unlike anything that anywhere near here. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable, really is. So we're so pleased and proud that what it's doing right now. And just like anything else, it has its gravity. So wherever Rouse's goes, there are things going to come. Okay, there are things that's successful. It's going to drag. It's pretty much like there's an attraction, and that's a big thing to land that in, put that in your orbit. Yeah.
Well, I've been working out.
Let me take this. I'm going to be a little bit doing my pitch too about what things cost. the other argument you hear in social media, well, you make all this gaming revenue, okay? But I want to say this so people understand it, okay? Our 8 casinos in Biloxi, and over the last 3 years, and we're, 21, 22, 23, now 24, the gross gaming revenue is what is taxed, what the casinos pay for tax. Okay, if you do your arithmetic, 12% of $1 billion, that's what these 8 casinos in Biloxi do, okay? And so we're making all these billions of dollars. Well, let me say this, that $1 billion gross gaming revenue turns into $120 million of taxes that the casinos pay. They pay that on a monthly basis, but for that year, $120 million. Of that $120 million, 80 million of that goes directly to the state of Mississippi. Okay, so that leaves public safety and education and those.
Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. We had the mayor of the city of Biloxi, Fofo Gillich, with us today. I wish we had the whole show because there's a lot to talk about, but we'll have him back here in the next month or so, and we'll continue the conversation. But the point he was making is that, you think about $1 billion in gross revenue just for the city of Biloxi alone and 12% taxes. And he was saying that 80% of the 12% immediately goes back to the state. So he wants to make the point, and I'll let him continue from this point forward, about how much actually ends up back at the city, and then what it costs to service all these people coming into the city. We're not getting, the city of Biloxi at the end of the day needs to do well, and it's not getting its fair share at the end of the day. So why don't you pick it up from there?
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not moaning and groaning. I know the cards. We got to play the cards that we're dealt, and we've been successful, and we're going to be successful. So let me finish that $120 million. That $1 billion turns into $120 million that the casinos, these Biloxi casinos, pay. To the state of Mississippi. Well, the state of Mississippi, of that $120 million, holds $80 million of that $120 million. Now, what's left, $40 million, is what we have to work with as far as education, public safety, and services related to those people that are visit our state of Mississippi, city of Biloxi. I think it's 4.2 million visitors a year. You do the arithmetic. Biloxi in the 2020 census was 49,872 people. But you do the arithmetic, 7,000 hotel rooms. And if you ever try to get a hotel room on a weekend, we got another 50,000 people. So we're not a 50,000 population area. We're 100,000 people. Okay, so I've got to support 100,000 people. And the 19,000 jobs that are related to that industry on the peninsula. Now, again, of the whole coast, I think we got 14,000 hotel rooms, plus or minus. So, but Biloxi 7,000. Now, a little bit of that $120 million, $40 million left does a lot of things for public safety, for Biloxi, the police department, as well as the county, and as well as the schools. Okay, so of that $40 million that's left, $3.76 million goes to the city of Biloxi public schools. Okay, so now we're whittling that party down. Okay, another $3.76 million goes to Gulfport, Harrison County, Pestrich, and D'Iberville, or Harrison County, as well as the other municipalities. So that's about $7 million of that goes just to education. So we're whittling that. So now what do you have left? We've got 100. We got more events in Biloxi than anybody around, and that's why it's our PD and our fire department has to be sufficient. We got 100 and about 40 something sworn police officers, and so it takes more to do what we need to do to make everyone comfortable, and safe, and friendly. That's the whole goal. So I want to clear up any conceptions that we're on top of the world. We're trying to be on top of the world. We're trying to attract more, and if we attract more, guess who's going to make more? The state of Mississippi, the Gulf Coast. And of course, our kids and our grandkids' future is what we're driving for.
I think just for people who've not heard these conversations, one of the things that made gaming in Mississippi so successful was that we adopted a Las Vegas type model. In other words, we let the free enterprise system decide. For the most part, it has to be in a legal location, et cetera. But we let the free enterprise decide, what the market can bear. So that's actually been very good for us. The other thing is that 12%, it may sound like a big number, but if you go compare that to other markets, 12% is a really manageable number for casinos and so that's a competitive advantage we have. Some markets, the taxing is unbelievably more than that. That's and then the last thing, and it's not just the last thing, but the most critical thing of, say, maybe this three things that I'm mentioning: free enterprise system, really reducing the amount of taxes that are going to be on them. The last thing is regulation, that we're not over-regulating them. And that's a really big deal. And when you combine those things together, it's made us a very competitive market, especially when you consider we're a coastal community and we've had so much success as it relates to that. One of the things they did, though, when they passed the 12% is, as the mayor said, they also in the bill just determined where the bulk of the money was going to go. So part of the money, a big bulk of the money is going to go back to the state. A bulk of the money is going to go to education and so on. And it limited what, at the end of the day, a city like Biloxi that has a big load to bear as it relates to the number of people that are being serviced by the casinos in the city at any given time. But it's been a model that has worked fairly well. That's what the point you're making. We're playing the cards that have been dealt us. But it's not a bad hand, really, at the end of the day.
No, it's not a bad hand. And like I said, I know what, you and I play Boo-Ray. We understand, who's got the lead and what we got to do. But Biloxi has been successful because we were open to that, and competition makes a better product over and over. You don't, about being in clubs and so forth. But bottom line, Biloxi's been successful because if you got the right idea, you got the right investment, and you got the ability to work hard and be successful, you will be successful. Competition is good. Okay.
Yeah.
And anything you do to protect, I want to say, don't feel too. I don't want to be too harsh, but you don't protect the weak. If you don't invest, and when you have competition, if you don't invest, you step in, step up, or step aside, and I guarantee you that's what could happen. Don't let people all around evaluating, if we talk about Florida and Alabama and Louisiana, we've seen models that don't work. Go to Louisiana. They don't have 15 licenses all over the town. Open competition is the best in every aspect of commerce. No question in my mind.
So, Fofo, you and I have talked about this before, but one of the cool things about being the mayor of the city of Biloxi is that there are a lot of people, a lot of developers kicking tires and calling you and having conversations with you. Is your phone still ringing a bunch?
Oh yeah. We got a handful of people are serious, and as these numbers, I'm talking about the interest and bond rates and stuff like that. That it even makes more sense. I've seen come, in the worst of times, but 21, 22, 23, we were record years because of, being in the right position, I think. It's still part of that, what you have to do to stay in a mode where it's still attractive. It's still attractive, I think you don't go 300 or 400. Look at hotel rooms now. You can't build a hotel room $250,000 a key. So when people are facing that, say you want to open a casino, it's not me and you couldn't go open a casino, but there are corporations who understand $250,000 a key. And what your potential is if you do nothing. Your potential is, to protect the money you have is 4 or 5%.
Well, we're coming to the end, but you have COVID hits and all that federal money and all this stuff, and we kind of held our own, and people wondered when all that federal money sort of wore out, what would the number look like? And then you're still, we hit that $1 billion mark. We're staying at the $1 billion mark. The casinos have been smart about their marketing and all of that. It's a different mix in how they go about getting that business. But the reality is this market has really held its own extremely well.
And the point I'll make, the people who want to compete and the people who invest, I got the numbers that say over the years, the people, first of all, the number of your gross gaming revenue is directly proportional to how many hotel rooms you have. That's a rule, okay? Yeah. And secondly, the people who have invested in things like bringing people in, okay, over the years to compete, and those people, those gross gaming revenues have risen. The people who have not, goes in another direction. That's a rule. That's a business rule. Whether you're in public, whether you're in a newspaper business or any kind of business, it's bottom line. And what do you do to increase your bottom line? Increase your revenues or reduce your expenses. That's, business is easy. That relates everything to bottom line. And I think the people, the smart people understand that.
We are a beautiful coastal community, paradise on earth, as we like to say. Listen, next time we're together, I want to talk about first responders, public works, how great a job they're doing. I handled that sewage issue a few months ago. Billy Ray and his team got on top of it. I was surprised at the investment you guys are making in the kind of vacuum truck that I saw. I mean, I talked to Kenny Holloway about this last week, but public works is a first responders as much as anybody, aren't they?
Guarantee you. I mean, no question. And when you mentioned Billy Ray, Billy Ray knows more about what's beneath the surface than anybody in Biloxi in the history of Biloxi. Because, he's been there a bunch of years. And I'm thankful for Billy Ray. And I've got his phone number memorized no matter what time of day it is. And he knows when I'm calling. I need
to make him the citizen of the year for the Ricky Matthews show.
No doubt.
He and his team. They do good work. Hey, listen, Mayor, it's been a pleasure to spend time with you. We'll have you back soon so we can continue the conversation.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Tell Ann, everybody, and your favorite mother-in-law, my favorite, person, Merry Christmas. And
I'll do it. Annette Bohanovich, what a special woman she is. We're lucky to have her. I will definitely do that. Listen, y'all have a good holiday, and we'll talk soon.
You too. Call me if you need anything. Thank y'all.
You bet. This has been the mayor of city of Biloxi, Fofo Gillich. When we come back, Jay Trapani from Waveland will be joining me. We'll see you after that.
Jay, I said hello to you. He's a good buddy. Good buddy.